Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, July 17th, 2023. We are past halfway in this year, and it has been hot. Not just here, but hot all over the place. There's been bad weather and storms and rain and floods. I know it's all over the place, and there's nothing we can really do about that. But I hope everybody is doing well and is safe and sound. Uh, and I hope that we can have a good conversation tonight. Keep everybody occupied, keep people interested, and by all means, be part of the program. Everybody who is here already probably already knows the routine, but I do have others that occasionally join us. I did limit it again to only subscribers can make comments. We ran into a problem a few weeks back. There was some sort of bot throwing junk on there, and I had to fix it again, so where it's only subscribers. So if you are new and just checking in and want to see what this is about, and you want to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and it takes, I think, 5 minutes until you can actually leave a comment. Other than that, I think everything is going to go good tonight. I feel good about it. I know that I didn't get to do much last week, and this week was a slow start. Well, this past week was a slow start to get back into the groove of things. When you take a vacation and you go away for a while and you come home, there's things you need to take care of just around the house, maintenance, just a variety of things that need to be done. And so last week didn't really get a whole lot done. However, I did make that video on that welder right there. And if you haven't already, I'm sure most of you have by now, leave a comment on that video to be entered into the drawing. So it's going to run for 2 weeks. I'll do a random picker as I normally do on my laptop here, and we'll see who wins the Arc Captain MiG 200. Now I do limit that to people in the U.S. And I guess I could send it. Well, let's put it this way: shipping is on whoever wins it, unless they're local to me or they are within a certain radius. The shipping is going to be on them. I can't handle shipping costs. So anyway, if you're all interested, make a comment on that video. Now, again, I encourage everybody to participate, ask questions, make comments, and everybody that does gets a bell, as you know. Anybody who's new, that's a little reward system I have, and I think it works pretty well. So let's see who is here. First in tonight, early, Terry Keithley. Evening, everyone in Barrie. Please hit the like and thumbs up. Thank you kindly. Glad you're here, Terry. Steve Grimes. Good evening from steamy Central PA. I finally got the first color on my client's 55 Crown Victoria. Woohoo! Well, that is a big plus. Good to hear that, Steve. Rick Gain, it's been such a hectic day. I almost forgot it was Monday until I got the notification. Hope everybody is doing well. Hit the like and thumbs up for Barry. Yes. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Crash Rider, greetings and good evening from Southern Indiana. Hope you made good progress on a Mustang project this week. Excellent review on the welder also. Thank you. Whoops, let me give you a bell. I didn't really get much done on the Mustang. What I have been doing, as I normally do, I talk about this on occasion, where I'm working on something, and I may be at a stop. Like I stopped a couple weeks ago doing the vacation stuff and all that. And so a lot of times I don't want to say overanalyze, but I'll analyze where I'm at and what I need to do and get the progress going in the right direction. So what I have been doing is adjusting pieces and parts just to see what does what, if this changes that, trying to make sure everything is going to line up. It's just kind of the way I do things. I don't rush into things. I make sure everything is where I want it before I strike an arc on it. So that's kind of where I've been with it right now, just taking my time. Leonard checking in, evening all from a hot high desert. Yes, and I don't understand the draw. They're saying Death Valley is going to have temperatures like 131 degrees, and people are just flooding into Death Valley so they can experience 131 degrees. Oh boy. Let me tell you, I know Leonard's out in the heat, but let me tell you, when I was in the military, one of the exercises that we did, I was an infantry soldier, and I was assigned, our whole platoon was assigned to a mechanized unit at one point. So that means like a track vehicle. I think M113 is what we were using as troop carriers, and those are they're big aluminum boxes, and you could put a mortar in the back, or you could have armament on top and different things like that. So we were assigned to a whole different unit to take care of a task for them in a training mission. And we were out in Death Valley in the middle of summer. And I have no desire at all to go to Death Valley in the middle of summer. We were out there in those track vehicles, and we were probably drinking, I don't know, 3 or 4 gallons of water a day just to keep ourselves hydrated in the whole process. So yeah, they can go out there and experience that heat. I have no interest in it. Just crazy. Jerry checking in. Howdy y'all, hot in Texas, which makes Robert all gloomy, but I am happy that I posted before him. Now is it a competition, Jerry? Is that what it is? It's become a competition. Who can get in there first? Crash Rider, be sure to leave a like by hitting the thumbs up. Yes, definitely. And I point that out on any of my videos as well. That is really important to do that. YouTube looks at that. They look at the thumbs up. They look at the viewership time, all that sort of thing. I didn't know what to expect out of the welder video. I'm currently at about 900 views on that, and that's fine. I didn't know what to expect, and I want as many people interested to participate on that one in particular, to make sure somebody has it's not just like 10 people that would have a chance to win the welder. I want it to be a broader scope. Tommy checking in from the Busted Knuckle Garage. A hot one today in Alabama. Hope everyone is doing well. Glad you're here, Tommy. Roger checking in. Greetings from next door. Glad you're here, Raj. And Robert checking in. Evening all. And he also says, going to dig a tunnel to Antarctica and bring in some ice. Good luck with that. Dave Tyson, good evening all. Glad to hear Dave. Rusty's Restoration. Good evening, Barry. Thumbs up from Southern Indiana. Glad you're here, Rusty. Jack. Good evening, Barry, from a steamy New Jersey. Yes. Glad you're here, Jack. Robert. Only 107 today. It starts getting hot again tomorrow. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And I may have some pictures to download here in just a minute. I just got an email notification. So, Nick says hello, Nick Moss. Glad you're here, Nick. You have to give us an update on your painter and see if he's back to health and being able to paint your Mustang. Jerry says, Robert, you just had a nice vacation in Northeast Ohio. That should have given you some relief. Leonard, 116 here today and 110 now. Yeah, but it's a dry heat, right? That's always the thing. It's a dry heat in the desert. Jerry says, see, Robert, some people have it worse than us. Yeah, I was looking at my app here on my phone, and out in Breckenridge, Colorado, just to give you some perspective, Breckenridge, Colorado, the lows are in the 40s, and the highs are basically in high 60s, low 70s. They're enjoying those temperatures right now. And we have my Wi-Fi signal again. That shouldn't be happening. Should not be happening because Wi-Fi is not even connected. All right, Mr. Mikey, howdy from hotter than South Texas. Yeah, glad you're here, Mr. Mikey. I hope this is, no, there went the Wi-Fi thing went again. Leonard says they can have it. Yeah, those temperatures out there. Yep, definitely. Bob Shoemaker, evening Oklahoma. just hot this time. Well, now I can't get Nick's response. This dumb thing. It's doing that. It's not even an option. It's hard connected. We haven't. All right. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Nick says he is better. So okay. I'm getting some other responses. This should not even be trying to do the Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's working. I don't understand why it's trying to do that because there. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Hold on. Ugh. Frustrating, frustrating, frustrating. Okay, Nick says he's back. Supposed to paint this week, so that's a big plus. Out here in the garage. Okay, I don't know who that is. On vacation in Hazy Pigeon Forge. We'll be back working on a 69 Mustang interior on Wednesday. And I recently purchased a 89 FT50 4x4 with broken thermostat housing bolts. Fun ahead. Well, glad you're here, out here in the garage. Car Guy Troy, checking in. Missed the last couple Mondays. Hope all is well for everyone. Glad you're here, Troy. Nick, yes, I'm breaking up. I think we're getting it back. I don't understand why it shouldn't be able to even do that. Um, Dave Conville, good evening. Sorry I'm late. Out cutting the grass before it rains again. Yeah, I cut my grass yesterday because I was expecting rain off and on this week. Leonard, it's so hot, just a drop of hardener in the filler, and it's off to the races. I'll bet. I will bet. Troy, you're moving like max headroom on my monitor. Yeah, okay. All right. Robert says I'm back. Rusty says you're back. And okay, everybody's saying I'm back. Okay. I don't know um, why it's doing this. Richard, good evening. 80% humidity on Long Island today. Well, that sounds like fun. Nick, did you see my door cards? Um, I I don't know if I saw them or not. I know that you you were supposed to send them to somebody, weren't you? I think we had communicated that. So I don't know if you did that or not. So I didn't see them. Or did you get new ones? Is that what you're saying? New ones for your car? I don't know if you showed us those. I have to look through my pictures. You may have sent those, but I don't remember at this point. I have to delete a few things off my file here anyway. I've got a couple of pictures that Russ has sent me that his project. So let me get one of those up real quick. Yeah, that's a nice setup. That's a nice looking setup there. That's one thing I had a rotisserie at the body shop, and I do kind of miss having one here. Very, very handy. That looks great. Now, I don't remember. Is this the one that had the big the wheel tubs in it? No, I don't think so. I can't tell by that picture. One more shot here. See if that shows us. Yeah, there's just something really cool about having things painted up like that, having the underside done and be able to access it. It just looks really cool, even like that on display. Oh, okay. So Nick says no, the carbon fiber ones, and he will send them. All right. Okay, so Rusty's Restoration, Barry sent you pics of my other project, 65 Twilight project, just got the shell done. Okay, so that's what I was showing. That's what I was showing. And that looks great. Very, very nice. You have to tell us what color it's going to be. I'm assuming that's primer. And it looks like you used a different. Maybe I'm wrong. Forward apron, or maybe the 65 does have that oblong indent. I think maybe it does. I get confused sometimes whenever I'm going through pieces and parts. Dave Britton. Hello, Dave. Glad you're here. Ray Buckman. Evening, Barry. I guess just hope you had a great week. And to all, I guess. Thank you, Ray. Leonard says that's nice. And Richard Vogel makes things a whole lot easier. Yes, it does. Car Guy Troy, is it possible to rebuild a fan clutch? 67 Mustang thermal clutch, trying to keep original parts if possible. Can't seem to find much out there about the process if there is one. I'm going to lead towards no, personally. I've never heard of anybody rebuilding a fan clutch, and I'm sure there's got to be a pretty tight tolerance for the clearance of it. You know, it's obviously got things pressed together, and there has to be something that keeps it from coming apart. So I don't know what the risk is trying to press it apart and what you would gain. You know, what could you replace that with? Odds are you're just going to have to find one, I would say. Anybody else have any input on that? By all means, let us know. Leonard says, no, you can't rebuild them. So there you go. That's what I thought. Nick says, those underpinnings look fantastic. Yes, talking about this car. I mean, that's a great feeling when you get it to that point. All the metal's on, everything's looking good. That really is a good feeling. It's almost one of those where you're like, okay, I'm done. I just want to leave it like that for a long time. I just want to look at it like that. Because then, you know, at some point you have to start putting in all the pieces and well, after paint, of course, but putting things together. And then you stress over the risk of scratching it or something not fitting right and having to go backtrack. And it's almost like, just leave it like that. That looks great. Rusty, it's a 65 GT Coupe. Replace the floors and back half of the car. Twilight turquoise with white deluxe interior, starting paint soon. Okay, so I'm going to say, just my opinion, I don't know what the production numbers for 65 GTs, but being a coupe, that makes it cool. It really does. Yeah. Looks great. It does. It looks fantastic. Ray Buckman just got Willwood 6-piston calipers for the Vet. Probably the prettiest things going on. Well, that's a big plus. 6-piston calipers. That ought to stop on a proverbial dime. Let's see. So Nick has sent me some of the door card pics. Okay, so let me get those downloaded quick. Hopefully quick. Now that I have apparent internet service again. Drives me crazy. Okay, so let me put on that comment. That's Ray. Okay. Okay, that's a bit different looking. So is it going to be that's the finished look for those? I assume because it's a carbon fiber. I'm assuming. That's pretty wild looking. I'm looking forward to seeing this car completely together, Nick. I really am. It's going to be a wild looking car. All your little add-ons and stuff you did to it, all the extra bracing, all that, those cool things, that's going to pay off. I know you built that console. So yeah, all that stuff is cool. Troy, that really looks clean. You don't want to put the parts back in case you messed it up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just kind of want to just leave it like that. I'm good. I'm far enough. Put it in the corner. Put a cover on it. Leonard, there's nothing better than being able to work on it without lying on your back. That's a big truth there. Yeah. Nick says, I don't know what Twilight Turquoise looks like, but it sounds awesome. My grandmother had a 67 Galaxy in a turquoise that was beautiful. I don't know what Twilight Turquoise is either. You know, they come up with some really interesting names on these cars. On these paints, I should say. Twilight Turquoise, I don't know. My mind keeps going to Gulfstream Aqua. Is it similar to the Gulfstream Aqua? I'd have to look it up to see it, but it does sound like an interesting color. And Nick says, yes, I may gloss them to make it pop a little more. Yeah, that's I've never seen door cards like that. That is really interesting looking. Now it looks like it must be like a shredded or chewed up carbon fiber, and then it's pressed into a sheet, and then they cut it out. Is my guess. I know that I've done I did composite training when I went to A&P school, and that was kind of a newer thing back 30 some years ago, and it was pretty cool. I wish I would have got more involved with it. They give you a project to make, and the project that we were making, I probably have it somewhere still, was a notebook binder, like a 3-ring binder. And so we took I think it was Kevlar, fiberglass, and maybe carbon fiber, and we had to get all of it prepped, and then put it into a vacuum bag and put it in the oven. And then of course it's under vacuum, so it compresses everything out, squeezes out the residue, and then when we got it out, we trimmed it down to fit, and it was pretty cool actually. I don't know where it's at, but it's here somewhere. So I really like the that process, which makes you think of something else. When composite materials were being developed, let's say, like if you look at as an aircraft, when you walk in on the floors in an aircraft, they may move a little bit, and I don't know if you've ever wondered what those are, but that's a composite material. That's a thin sheet of fiberglass, a honeycomb panel in the center, and another thin sheet of fiberglass. Incredibly strong. But all the floors in the planes are made with those. And back in I can't say exactly when, 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of experimentation going on with composites. And the reason I know that is when I was in A&P school for aircraft maintenance, we were doing composite training. And if you look this up, a Piper PA-29 Papoose, I probably talked about this before. It was an experimental aircraft that Piper built, and I think they only ever built one of them. And so the Papoose, it was a two-seater side by side, and I think it had a little sliding or some sort of sliding canopy on it, but it was all composite materials. So the wings were a layered honeycomb, and with the curve and everything already in them, you could actually take the caps off the end of the wings and look all the way down to the center of the aircraft through the wings, and there was like a spar in the middle, but everything else was a molded shape. So Piper, they built this thing. The whole thing was honeycomb and fiberglass, and they flew it, and it flew pretty well. And then they did damage testing on it. They took a sledgehammer and smashed the side of that plane in, went out and flew it, and they said it flew fine. It didn't change the characteristics. So anyway, they took that plane and they parked it behind their hangar up in Pennsylvania, and it sat outside for probably decades. And then somebody found it and said, "Wait a minute, this is a pretty important piece of their history." So they brought it to the aircraft school, Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, and we restored that. And so that plane, if you look it up, I did honeycomb repairs on the wings, and we did the bodywork on it, and I actually sprayed I know I sprayed the primer on that plane. I sprayed the primer. I think the next class that came in, they did the paint work on it. But I did spray primer on that plane. And supposedly, I don't know if it ever did or not, they were supposed to put a plaque on that plane in front of at the display where it's at, I guess in the Piper Museum, with all the students' names that worked on it. I don't know if they ever did or not. But it was a PA-29 Papoose. So if you ever look that up, you'll see it. Maybe. Should be out there. Let's see. Wait a minute. Jerry checking in from the Money Pit. Good evening from Middle Tennessee to all. Thumbs up for Barry. Thank you, Jerry. Robert says, I've never heard door panels called cards. That's a new term for me. Yeah, I never heard that either, but I guess it made sense what he was talking about. But yeah, I hadn't heard that till Nick said it as well. And Nick says, yeah, it's chopped fiber that's vacuum pressed with resin, of course. Yes, that's cool. Let's see. Out here in the garage, the British call the door panels cards. Okay, thank you for that. So Nick has a little bit of a British vibe going on then. Ray says vet door panels are called cards also. Yeah, I'd never heard that. I've only ever called them door panels. So, but that's fine. It's like we say deck lid or trunk lid. It works. We understand what we're getting at. Next is panels cover the whole door, and cards are inserts as far as I know. So it could be an insert too then. Could be an insert. But that makes sense. Evan's Garage. Hey Barry. Hey all. I'm late again. Glad you're here, Evan. Let's see, Leonard. I read somewhere where Ford is going to make the Mustang from carbon fiber. Any idea on that? Wow, I haven't heard that before. That could be interesting. I don't know. Haven't heard that. Nick, got to get back to work. Have a good evening, y'all. Thank you, Nick. Need an update on your car getting painted as soon as you can. Dave Britton, door cards is common in Canada as well. Okay, that's like I said, we get the gist of it. Um, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. I mentioned, we did the road trip, we did our excursion, all that stuff. Uh, I'm probably doing another trip. Probably first weekend in February, or no, yeah, February. First weekend in August. Um, we have a family event that my wife and I are going to go to, but also I'm going to pick up the engine and supercharger and stuff from my brother Studebaker, because there's an engine in that car, but he had another engine and transmission. I'm not sure exactly what they are, if they're any good or not, but I bought them in that auction, and they're currently being stored at my nephew-in-law's property, and I need to get that picked up. And along with that, I'm going to meet up with um, I don't know if he's a distributor, what you would call him, a person in Ohio who has the front fenders for that car as well. He has NOS fenders. So I'm going to make it a kind of a broader trip. We're going to go up for the family event. I'm going to get the engine and transmission, and I'm going to go get those fenders. At least I'll probably get the fenders, and I think he has a front valance as well. Um, there's been a discussion. I know he has the bumpers for the car, but I really don't know if I want bumpers on this car yet. I don't know if I would, because I like the way it looks without them. It's pretty smooth looking, and for Studebaker, this particular, it's not the smoothest car, but it looks kind of unique to not have those bumpers on. I think I might have a picture up here somewhere, or I might not, but I know that there was a Studebaker being raced on a road course, and it did not have bumpers on it, and I thought, boy, that looks pretty cool. Um, so I'm debating on that whole process. Robert, well, they have been made of cardboard for a long time, so it makes some sense. Yeah, well, okay. Lewis, I've heard trunk lids called turtles. Turtles? I've heard them called bonnets or boot. I've heard it called a boot. And and in Europe, well, Britain, I guess, the fenders are called guards, I think. So you have a bonnet and a boot and guards. I don't know what they call bumpers. So there are different names for things, but I've never heard a trunk lid called a turtle. Rick Gain, door card to go in a vehicle that has a bonnet instead of a hood. Yeah, yep, there we go. Rusty sent a pic of Twilight Turquoise. I saw. Okay. So that's not a bad looking color. Let me get that pulled up here. Let me get that pulled up. Delete that one. Go get this one. Okay. Kind of a small image. I'm sure there's better ones out there. Twilight Turquoise. That's like a darker version of Gulfstream Aqua. But I like it. I am a fan of green. I like green. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't say it's my favorite color. I can't say it's green. I like blue as well. Um, so that's a nice color, Rusty. I like that. Troy, I've heard fenders called wings. Now, I've never heard that, but I guess that's a possibility. Heard them called guards, though. I think Australia in particular, they say guards. They've written some of the old Fords had a had a back called a turtle deck back in the 20s, I think. I don't know if they called it turtle deck or turtle back. They might have called it, I think I remember hearing turtle back. Um, but yeah, I remember that expression. Terry, are you going to pick up some gobs while you're there? Yes, definitely getting some gobs while I'm there. Yeah. And um, I'm debating on how I want to handle all this. Here's the deal. So I've talked about before about the old property, the old junkyard, and um, it was sold to a local, basically coal company or power company, and so they own it now. So we have no rights to anything there at all. And I've talked to the land manager, um, and I've asked him about some items that I'm going to try to get a hold of that are just leftover pieces that nobody would want anyway. So my mom asked me if it was possible that I could get her or get permission for her to go into the house one more time because that power company, they're going to destroy that house. They're going to tear it down. They don't want anybody in there. They don't want anybody, squatting or anything like that. So they're going to destroy the house, which is, I mean, it's okay. It's an old house. Probably should it probably would be practical to tear it down. I agree with what he's saying. It's a danger because it needs so much renovation. But my mom wants to go in there one last time. Well, I've thought about, um, and I haven't decided yet. I may do some video up there. I may do some video, but I don't. I have to see how I feel about it as to whether I'll put it on the channel or not. Um, there's a lot of memories in that house. There's a lot of interesting quirks and oddities to the house, um, and I want to go through it with her, and hopefully I can make arrangements so that we can go up there and do what she wants to do to get closure on all that. So that's another thing I got to try to work into the schedule as well. Um, but it's some things you got to work out for everybody involved. I'm going to skip down here. Dave Britton says, "What are gobs?" Well, gobs are you can look them up online. If you looked up Yost Bakery, Yost Bakery, that is a bakery in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and they've been making gobs for decades. Some people might call them a whoopie pie, something like that. But gobs were specifically made for like coal miners because they would go into the mines and they needed a snack that wouldn't like fall apart, like cake. You could have a piece of cake and you'd have to wrap it up. These gobs are kind of more of a dry cake. It's two pieces of like cake material and then a really kind of a hard, not hard, but not a squishy icing. Like if you had a birthday cake, you could just squish it real easy. This is a little more dense. And the idea was when these guys were in the coal mines and they were hungry, they could pull out this, one of these gobs and just eat it and not have to worry about it falling apart in their hands, and being a problem. So gobs became a local favorite around that area, and I know they ship to, across the country now, but they're not made anywhere else as those specific um, dessert snack, whatever. But if you might go other places. I know that if you're from up in Pennsylvania area or Maryland and that area, there's gas stations called Sheetz, Sheetz. They sell their own version of that, but it's more of a cake. It's more soft, and they're really good. Glass of milk or a cup of coffee, good stuff. So, yes, and Steve points out gob cake is delicious. Is also, yes, my wife makes gob cake for us. In fact, that's kind of a special treat to have gob cake. So, yeah, you can look it up. And like I said, some people call them whoopie pies, but I've always known them as gobs. Richard Vogel says, beautiful color. Yes, and we're talking about this um, twilight turquoise. That is a sharp color. I like that. The white accents. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Ray, hope you all enjoy the heat coming eastward. Was 100 today. Yeah, we're supposed to hit 96 on Thursday. Yeah, not fun. Rick, fenders have been referred to as wings. Yeah, I've never heard that before today, so I'm not familiar with that at all. Crash Rider, that looked like a nice shade of blue to me. It's all blue. Troy, I like that blue. Dave Britton, do gobs come in a bunch of flavors? The actual gob, the original gob, does not. It has chocolate cake top and bottom, and then white kind of icing in the center. That's all they ever made. Well, they may have made variations to that, but the original was just that way. Now the other ones, the whoopie pies, if you buy them at the fast food or gas station place, they come. And let me tell you, they are fantastic. They have a chocolate cake with a white icing, but the best one, the absolute best one, is the chocolate cake with a peanut butter icing in the center. Let me give me a bell. Fantastic. Really, really, really good. Okay, we're going to stop talking about cake now. Leonard, anything like your breakfast muffins? No, not like the breakfast muffins, but yeah, you can still make your breakfast muffins. That's pretty easy to do. Rick Game, we need to have Simone sign on so we can get all the British car terminologies explained. Yes, yeah, she definitely has enlightened us with some of the terms. I forget what she was calling a drive shaft. Yeah, there's a variety of terms that we don't use. Tommy, my 59 Chevy definitely has wings in the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We can call those wings. Or fins. Also called fins. Steve Grimes, yum, I'm going to Sheets. Yeah. Yeah, there's no Sheets down here in Georgia. And I haven't seen anybody else make those, a copy anywhere down here. We have moon pies. They sell moon pies. Not the same. In fact, moon pies to me, they're like a desperation dessert. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy a moon pie. If somebody gives me one, I might eat it, but it's like marshmallow with waxy chocolate on it. Blech. Yeah, not as good. Dawn's Manufactory. Hello, folks. Sorry I'm late. Had to throw a quick tune on his 69 Torino convertible. Very good. Rick Gain, drive shaft is also referred to as a prop shaft. Yes. Very good. Robert, I didn't think to stop at Sheets last week in Ohio. Well, as you need to next time you're up there. So the path that we're going to be taking us up to, we're going to be going to Pennsylvania for this event on the 5th. So we'll be headed up towards, basically end up in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And then I will be driving over to, I think, Akron, Ohio to get the fenders. And maybe the front valance as well. I think he has the front valance. So who knows? I might be delivering a welder to somebody up in that area, depending on who wins. Could be any one of you, and maybe on our course we just drop off the welder on the way. You never know. Michael Pagliarini, prop shaft, yes. Troy Justin, a drive shaft is a prop shaft, yes. Let's see. Dawn says his, as in my brother's Torino. Okay. I haven't been able to keep up with all of your stuff going on, Dawn. I know I saw a snippet. I think you were putting the windshield into Betsy. I I try when I can to get some videos, to watch, but it's really hard to keep up with. Lewis, also in South Carolina in the 50s, we had banana flip cakes. You can still get banana. The what do they call them? It's like Hostess makes them. It's like a banana. Well, it's like a. It almost looks like a pancake that's folded on itself with a banana cream in the center and banana. Is that what you're talking about? Because yeah, those are amazing. Lawrence T. McGillicuddy, sail, section of the roof behind the rear window. Yes, that is the sail. Yeah, why do they call that a sail? That's a good question. Good question. Why do they call that a sail or a sail panel? Go ahead, answer that one. uh, Steve says I'll be home. Okay. Well, you never know. I might just stop in on our excursion. I'll be in the area, so I might just stop in. Terry Keithley, are you driving the RV? No, we're not going to. We're not going to use the RV on this trip. Um, Partly because it's the only vehicle we would have with us. So I'm probably going to use the Suburban, and I think at this point tow my trailer to get the engine and transmission, and then I'll probably just drive the Suburban by itself over to Ohio to get the fenders and put them in the back, and then swap things around when we get back. So I'll be using the trailer, and it feels like it's overkill. Like I wish I had a smaller trailer to use, but I don't have much choice. The alternative would be to just get the supercharger parts for the car and leave the engine and transmission there. But I'm also in a gray area because I really don't know the status of the engine in this car. And I'd hate to give up an engine and know that this one has a problem, find out later this one has a problem, and then I don't have a backup. So I'm just going to have to make it happen to get everything all together. Terry says, are you driving the RV? Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, we're not going to drive the RV. Not for this trip. Not for this trip. But we are getting stuff together. We are accumulating pieces and parts, and we need a coffee maker and some dishware stuff. But we're getting closer. And if you saw on the any of you that follow me on Patreon, I posted a video. I do have the car dolly now, but I have to get tires for it. The tires are junk, so I have to at least get tires for it and debate on whether I'm going to fix up the one fender. One fender's busted, so I'll have to figure that out. Leonard got 5 welders, don't know what to do with a 6th. That's where I'm at right now. That's why I decided to give that welder away. And in hindsight, I've been using the Yes Welder stuff, and it's all good. I like the Yes Welders. I really, really do. But I pointed out the flaws with what I don't like about the Yes Welder is on that side panel right there. The roller wheel is kind of hidden by the corner, so you can't get your hand in there very easily to swap out the parts. And that one has that light in it, which I really like, and I also like the controls better. Even though it does the same thing, essentially, I do like this welder a lot. So I kind of, maybe in a little way, regret giving it away. But a deal's a deal. I said I was going to do that. I'm going to give it away. Let's see. Rusty says I tried to send. Okay, yeah, that's a better pick. So we're going to get that one. And then Mike Johnson just painted the Mustang. Here's what I got so far. Tractor paint. Wait a minute. Let me download that one too. Okay, let me get these. Let me get these pictures. I'm going to delete this one. and pull up a better picture of the turquoise, twilight turquoise. So let me pull that up. Oh yeah. Yes, yes, yes. That's that's a sharp color. I didn't even know. I guess I've seen that color, but didn't really pay much attention to it. It does look a bit. There's always going to be some resemblance to other colors, but a bit darker version of the Gulfstream Aqua. But that is sharp. That is very sharp. Let me see if I can get this other picture. And this picture was sent by Mike. If it'll pull up. Nope, I have to delete another picture somewhere. So let me delete this. Okay, we're getting there. So this picture, if it'll show up, has to bounce off a satellite. This is from Mike. And he says, just painted the Mustang. Here's what we got so far. Tractor paint by Van Sickle, flat black. Interesting. Dual hood scoops. Okay. Yeah. Nice looking car. Now is that going to be the end result? Is that what you're aiming for? Have to give me a comment on that. Pull that one back down. Dawn, it looks like a mainsail. Talking about the sail panel. Well, I guess it does. I could see that. Rick asked if I'm taking the RV in August. No, that is not the plan. I'm going to have to tow the trailer, and we need something else to drive while we're there. Lewis, we call them package shelves. Well, they still call them package shelves in the back, but the sail panel is on the roof line. So if that's what we're talking about. Rick says, I saw this as I wrote. Oh, as I saw the answers, I wrote this. Yes, it would be tough to handle the engine. Crusher, they call it a sail because that is easier to say than a rear upper body panel. Okay. Evan, my welding is fairly questionable, but I don't think a new welder is the solution. Well, you never really know until you try. I will say this. When I made that video, and if y'all saw it, I mentioned that I had not stick welded since 1990. Yeah, 1990. Because what I did when I was in A&P school, I rebuilt a car, my first actual collision rebuild type of vehicle, of a modern style vehicle. So my dad had this little Dodge Colt, and it was rear-ended. And I sectioned out the back corner and half the floor pan of that car and I got from another one we had, and I put that car together with a stick welder. And people said, you can't do that. It won't work, blah, blah, blah. It's not, whatever. I put that car back together with a stick welder. The whole thing, even the B pillar, or what would be the C pillar, every weld on that car was done with a stick welder. It didn't fall apart. It didn't die. I put a ton of miles on that car, drove it for about 2 years, and then I sold it to somebody else. They drove it, for about 3 years, and then I think they finally wrecked it in the front and took it out, finished it off. But all the welding I did was with a stick welder on that car. That's why I know that I have not welded with a stick until the other day. And it was weird because when I did that, There was no practice run. That was a fresh rod, bare metal, boom. And it was just like, oh, wow, I still remember how to do this. I was shocked. I really was. Dawn says, love that blue. It's twilight turquoise. It's not blue. You're all killing me. Leonard, did anyone see the post from a guy that restored a 7 Ranchero, took it to a car show, and totaled it? No. No, I did not see that. I have seen some disturbing videos, though, where guys showing off, of course, they always have the Mustangs doing a burnout and crashing into the crowd or whatever. I saw one the other day where it was going down the interstate, and there was some people in a minivan, and these two, I think they were like Chevelles, were kind of hot dogging each other. And the one that was up front, he decided to punch it, and he broke loose. And they were already doing like 60 miles an hour, 65, and the rear end broke loose on that Chevelle. He went over and hit that van, and flipped it multiple times over into the side ditch. It was really bad. So, we're all guilty of trying to show off sometimes, but we also forget that these are machines that we feel like we're in control of, right? We always think, oh yeah, I can do that, but there's a lot of people out there that can't, and there's people that probably have never even experienced a tire failure going down the interstate, or something breaking, and not having that background experience as to know what to do. So when I see stuff like that, it really bugs me. It really does, because those people messing around on the interstate, I don't know if those people in the van, I don't know, there might have been kids in that van. I don't know the end result, but man, it was disturbing to see the thing just rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. Airbags popped all over the place, just for somebody being foolish, and that's unacceptable. Robert, the paint is an acrylic enamel, and I use a satin black for underhood stuff, basically similar to what the cars had originally, but more durable than the old stuff. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the Van Sickle? Is that what you're talking about? Acrylic enamel? I guess I'm not. I guess that's what you're talking about. Sorry. Rusty says blue-ish. Clark, Twilight Blue is awesome. Troy, drive old cars long enough, you used to stuff breaking part of the package. I agree with that. And the thing is, you've got some younger generations who aren't experienced with that stuff. They might have grown up in a modern vehicle with ABS brakes and traction control and all these different things, and then they get in these an old car that doesn't have those features, and they don't know what to do. Something gives up or fails, and they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. Leonard, any word from the guy with the Bronco? We communicate. He's getting it together. I don't think he's done just yet, but I know that he's getting close to having it all together. And hopefully, he sends me some more pictures or a video clip of some sort that I can share that with everybody. Oh, here's a question for you. I don't know how many of you all really pay attention to any of the thumbnails that I put on the videos. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been trying to improve on that stuff a bit, and hopefully it's getting more people interested, I guess. I'm just trying to enhance, because they want you to have a visually interesting thumbnail. So I've been experimenting with some different editing techniques to try to make them a little more visually appealing. So I don't know if anybody's noticed that or not, but it's another one of those things that it's an editing process, and I have to figure out what works and what doesn't. Dave, how far away from you is that Bronco? He is out in Colorado, so quite the distance. Quite the distance. Anything we get now will probably just be pictures or a maybe a cell phone video or something like that. I don't see the opportunity for me to go out and see it again in person, but it is what it is. That's where it's at. So, um, I was thinking there was something else I wanted to mention. Give me just a second. Yeah, I've already talked about test fitting different panels. Um, oh, I saw where Peterson he posted I guess a Boss 302 that he's sending. I guess it's going to the Mecum auction. I think. So I'm wondering how that's going to turn out, and if that's how that's going to go in the auction. Good looking car, yellow, black interior. I think it's a Boss 302 car, but I saw him post that. Dave, I think your videos have had a nice update. I find them better this way. Okay. Well, I'm trying to keep the. I don't want to make 10-minute videos. I'm trying to avoid that now. But I'm also gonna. I feel like I need to start posting more than once a week, so that people can follow along a little bit better. So I might try to do something along those lines. Typically, I try to post a video on Friday or Saturday. That may have to be. I may have to adjust that a little bit. Like if I want to post two videos, it may end up being like Thursday and Sunday, you know. So I have to figure out what I can make, how I can make that work good for everybody. Um, Keep it relevant and keep the interest going. Because I know if I don't post something, the interest on YouTube it drops almost within a few days. It drops dramatically. Leonard, your videos on the Mustang are awesome. Keep them up. Yes, thank you, Leonard. Appreciate that. Richard, where do you get your Mustang parts from? Well, that's a good question. Most of the parts that are currently going on the Mach 1 project, the owner has been buying from NPD. I think he bought some from CJ Pony. Some he bought through a Dynacorn dealer that I know. But for the most part, if I'm getting anything these days, I think the bulk of what I have gotten was either I bought from Kentucky Mustang, I bought from NPD, and I have bought from CJ Pony. So you run into those scenarios depending on what the part is. Like one company may not offer the part that you want. It may be in um, another company may sell this or that or the other. I know that the experience we run into with the CJ Pony is they sell what they call the CJ Classic stuff. I think it's just another name they put on the same junk. Like we have some skins, 80% quarter skins in the back, and they're not great at all. They're for the Mach 1. They are not great panels. If you were building a dirt track car, they'd be ideal for that. They don't have the good crisp lines. They're almost like they used to sell, and they probably still do, a crash panel, which means you could like lay it on top of your existing panel and weld it on and bondo it up and go, okay, it's fixed. That's kind of what these feel like. They don't feel like they're the right dimension. So when they say CJ Classic, it's like, is it really just the same generic stuff that everybody else makes? I know that the quarter panel, at least the one quarter panel we have for the Mach 1, it's fantastic. The lines are crisp, the transitions are correct, I can't wait to put that panel on the car. We have another panel that I don't know who makes it anymore. It's still in the box. It's not a Dynacorn, only because we can't find a Dynacorn panel. So we're struggling with getting the driver's side quarter panel uh, for the Mach 1. We have one that'll probably work fine, but it's just not quite. The Dynacorn one is just better overall. But I bought them from a variety of places. Leonard, he can find them he can find them and does a great job on them. Yes, talking about Peterson. Yes, he does. Dave Tyson, much better than ones from 11 years. I guess 11 years ago, maybe? We're talking about panels. Evan, it's frustrating when good content takes time to develop and you get penalized for it. Yeah, that is really difficult. There's a lot of competition out there. And you all know I try to be as detailed and put out as much valuable information as I can. And nothing against Peterson. I know he kind of skims over things. He does show some hard detail stuff, but like I pointed out, the cowl panel on that Mach 1, it just doesn't fit on. There's trimming that has to take place, or you have to know where to cut and do this sort of thing. I share that stuff. I know when he did one, it was just like, I'm going to put this together, and next thing you know, he's got it all sealed up, and he's spot welding it. But there may be some details there that should be shared. So, but it does take a lot of time to make everything flow nicely. Car Guy Troy, I was thinking the CJ Classic line was Dynacorn with their own name on it. Part number seemed to match their catalog. Few I've looked at anyway, maybe not. Yeah, that's what we ran into with these quarter skins. They say they were Dynacorn. They're made by Dynacorn. And out of the box, they were just terrible. I mean, they weren't crisp. They were not, unless Dynacorn is selling a 80% skin that is lower quality than the quarter, then I'm going to say this is not the same thing. I don't know. Dawn, that quarter panel patch I bought with CJ Classic, it was terrible. Yes. I pointed that out when I did the Mystique Mustang. When I fixed the right rear quarter, he had bought a patch panel, and it was like an overlay patch panel. It was not a fixed panel. It was just covered up panel. And I went into detail about that, and I said, look, if you're going to do this, you may have to buy, I think it was 80% skin I bought, that had the correct stamping, had the right form to it. It made the right shape for the car, and you could see that in the end result. But yeah, some of the stuff is just not good. Leonard, my quarter panel, I got this. The lines were way off, and I spent years looking for an original. Yep. Richard Vogel, I've had a lot of luck with NPD over the years. I will say, I think NPD probably does a better job making sure the panels are good. They may have some lame ducks in there as well. I don't know for sure, but yeah. Doyle, I ordered a lower cowl panel for a repair in October of 22. OPG kept pushing delivery. Is that supposed to be NPD? Kept pushing delivery date. Just canceled order. I'm going to try and make one. It's behind the fender anyways. Okay. Yeah, the difficulty is getting these panels. They're not made here. We all know that. But just trying to get them here. Oh, so Dave. Okay, I get it now. He's saying video. So my videos are much better than the ones from 11 years ago. I agree. Yeah, the early ones were just, I had nothing to base it on. It's funny. I've been doing this a long, long time, and in the early days of YouTube. And so I think, I won't say that I was ahead of a lot of people, but I think a lot of what I did spawned a lot of what other people were doing. In effect, you know, by showing what I was doing, um, that may be why Peterson started. Maybe he may have seen my stuff and said I could do that. I don't know, but I'm just saying I've been doing it for so long that there's a lot of people that have joined the club and become part of the whole YouTube thing. Leonard, you go into greater details than anyone else. I have a tendency to do that. Cargo tour love the detail you put in the content. Helps the sandwiches for quite a lot. Please keep doing that. Yeah, that's the plan. I want to keep doing it that way. I don't want to just sit here and give you a general information thing and go, good luck. I don't want to do that. Michael Pagliarini, Peterson doesn't respond to any questions you ask him, even if you call him, no response back. I think the only time I've gotten a response out of them or him, I messaged him maybe on Instagram, and I made a suggestion that I might want to stop by his place sometime and just either shoot a video with him or something. But that has not played out. Who knows? Maybe I'll do that on this trip I'm making anyway. I'm not sure where his shop is though, but I know he's up. I'm pretty sure he's up in Pennsylvania. But yeah, he doesn't. I could tell. I'll be honest. I'll just put it there. I probably do too much when it comes down to it. I probably respond too much. I am too. I'm concerned about what people post on my YouTube videos. I don't want negative stuff. I don't want bad words. So I look at everything that goes on there, and I may just put a thumbs up or a heart or whatever. And sometimes I do comment, but also I post stuff on Instagram and I post on TikTok, and of course on Facebook, and I respond quite a bit. I mean, I'll get emails. I will get Facebook messages. Sometimes I end up on the phone with people. And, the reality is none of that generates an income. Just be honest. None of that. That's just time that I'm giving away. But I like to help people. I want people to know how to do what they're doing. I mean, I've been on FaceTime with people. I have had people ask me a question. I've come out of my house at 11 o'clock at night to take a picture with a tape measure to send to somebody so that they could know what they were putting back together was in the right place. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying I don't know if nobody else is doing that. Let's just put it that way. Nobody else is doing that effort, and it's the way I am. It's just how I am. I like to have people understanding what they're doing, and if it takes that effort to share information, a lot of times I'll do it. I've had times where I've been even walking around looking at the other cars, taking measurements for people. I had somebody asking me the other day about where the transmission tunnel brace is, and I measured the Mach 1, I measured the 67, I measured the Dynacorn floor pan. I gave them 3 different measurements to say this is where this cross member is, just stuff like that. And the reality is that's time. That is time that I'm not doing actual work. So, but I can't stop myself. Evans Garage, I found Dynacorn. If actually they're stamping, CJ Classics is Spectra, but I've had okay luck with CJ Classic. At least the firewall was pretty good. The roof was legit Dynacorn and was perfect. Okay. Yeah, I don't trust their classic line all that much anymore. I would like to have Dynacorn parts. Pretty much that's all I want. Car Guy Troy, I just bought a pair a fair amount of stuff from NPD. Figured before China invaded Taiwan, I would get what I needed. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I may be making an order for the 67 fastback project. I may be making that order and just getting, if I can get it all, and get it here. OPG is Original Parts Group, GM Restoration Parts. Oh, sorry, I should have realized that, but my mind went to NPD. Sorry about that, Doyle. Rick, the information you share in your videos now and even 11 years ago is invaluable. Well, thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Leonard, he'll give you what and how to, but don't go into great details like you. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, I guess it's kind of how their business is, right? Because, it's not just him. Peterson Restoration is a business. So that's their thing, is they're there to sell cars or fix up cars and sell them and, whatever. So that's what their goal is. They're not worried about somebody having all the information and helping them finish their projects. Their goal is to get more in and out, keep that door open for next project to come in. So Rusty's Restoration, I've been thinking about putting my videos on YouTube, but more to show my builds, not as instructional. My skill level is just a lower level guy giving it my best shot. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I know that I've said it before. I don't consider myself a professional. I consider myself an amateur with tons of experience. That's about as far as I get. Jerry, sorry I missed a fair amount of live stream, but I was shooting groundhogs. They're trying to take over my bar. Well, you can't have that. No way. You can't have groundhogs taking over your bar, because you get them little rascals get drunk, and they're going to mess up the weather for everybody. So you don't want that. Leonard, your information is more valuable than you know. Thank you, Leonard. I appreciate that. I really do. Dawn, Rusty, that's how the Betsy video started, just documenting my work and progress. And, Dawn, we had talked about that before, because you were sending me some videos and for the Viewers Project, which I haven't had a Viewers Project video in quite some time. And I know we talked about it. I said, you probably just need to start making videos. And I know you started a whole new channel for all that. And I think it's been very beneficial, partly for you, because you're able to share information, but also for the rest of us who get to see some of the work that you do. Because I was really impressed by a lot of the stuff that you're building on your bench, and the additional square tubing, and all. We talked about all this before. Really, really creative ideas, and I genuinely appreciate the opportunity that I get to see what you're doing on Betsy. So I'm glad you're doing that. Evan's Garage, Rusty, I don't know. I don't let that stop me. Agree with everyone, Barry. Your details have been valuable and gives a noob like me tons of good info. Well, good. I mean, that's all good. Rick, the time you spent talking to me after my car hit the tree and was in the shop was much appreciated. And I haven't seen any other provider care as much as you. Well, thank you, Rick. And that's, I don't know. It's just the way I am. Even with not even with YouTube, but even doing stuff outside of the shop, different things. I try to help people when I can, and again, share information and ideas. And I just got a notification from Ray. So Ray has signed up for Patreon. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. That helps. Evan is calling it a night. He says, good night, everyone. Thanks, Barry. You're welcome, Evan. Glad you were here. And we'll be back. We'll catch up with you next Monday as well. Anyway, so there's still a lot more to do. Okay, so Leonard says, I've re-looked at your video putting in the floor pan on the Mustang from 12 years ago, and it still gives great pointers. Awesome. That's funny you mentioned that, because I've done things where I've worked on a car, and I was like, I forget what I was. A couple times I've looked for information, because even I need some input sometimes, and I've done a Google search, and one of my old videos pops up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did that before. So I'm watching my own video, going, oh yeah, now I remember. Don says, good night, Evan. Ray, thank you. Again, thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. Robert, I'm always helping people with lots of other types of projects. Talked a friend through how to swap out a breaker a few minutes ago. I like sharing info and making things easier for others. Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at. In fact, I actually called Robert. I guess it was yesterday, because I had an AC problem going on with my Suburban, and I know he has a more AC experience than I do. So we were talking about it while I was working on it, and he was giving me some pointers and advice, and so we managed to get the AC working again, and that's cool. That's all good. That's all good. And Don says you helped me a lot, Robert. Yeah, and it's good to have that type of community. Um, there's some. Well, I've said it before. There's a lot of YouTube junk out there where it's just clowns destroying stuff, or uh, doing quick garbage builds, uh, butchering up cars, and they get a lot of views. They get a lot of people looking at it, but it's more for entertainment. It's not. It's not so much for knowledge and experience and being able to actually help you do your own project. So, Rick, you need to have a better appreciation for your wife's cat. I do appreciate my wife's cat. I appreciate that it stays away from me. I do. I will. I'll be honest. I've said before, I have some allergy to cats, and unfortunately, the other cat, is gone. But I have seen a decrease in my allergic reactions. So it's kind of a trade-off. I know that my wife was distressed over having to put the cat down, but I also found that it's helped me out because I'm not suffering as much physically. Leonard says, Robert, you're too far away for pointers. Okay. Michael Pagliarini, my family has been pushing me to make YouTube videos for about 2 years now, but that's not really my thing. I work in a garage to clear my head and keep from sliding back into old habits. Yeah, I know that anymore, I've said it before, it's weird if I don't have a camera running. I have 3 or 4 or 5 different cameras going now, and if I don't have a camera running, it's just a weird sensation. I'm like, wait a minute, I should be filming this. Somebody could benefit from this, and so I occasionally, like, if I might do a brake service for somebody, and I was like, man, should I have filmed that? Probably should have, but anymore I'm kind of like skipping over all that stuff, just because I don't want to fill up the channel too much with the other things. So Robert's talking to Dawn. Ray Buckenberry and all, have a great weekend. Looking forward to the next video. Yes. Terry Keithley, she may put you down, then you won't suffer. I think that's crossed her mind, actually. Yeah. That would not surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all that has crossed her mind. Okay. Well, it is 8:25, and voice is getting a little bit scratchy. That's usually my sign that I need to go. So it's been good. We will be back next Monday, the 24th, and then what's the next week after that? Because I will be traveling, as I said. So we'll be back to the 24th, and next 2 weeks I'll be here for sure. And then August, I may do a live stream from a distant location. I may do a live stream from Pennsylvania. We'll see how that goes. I might try that. Might try that if I can get a good signal. Uh, we'll see how that turns out. But let's see. Leonard says there's a guy who just got a 72 Grand Torino who needs the left inner skin, and told him to watch your videos to help him. Okay, cool, very good. All right, so I'm going to call it a night, and we'll be back next Monday at 7:00. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.